Romans 4:11, he received the sign of circumcision as a seal of the righteousness that he had by faith while he was still uncircumcised. The sign of circumcision was related to the covenant that God had made with Abraham. Let's do a brief little history on covenants in the Old Testament. Really important to know these because they're kind of the backbone, the promise backbone that leads into the New Testament. You have the covenant with Noah, which is a promise by God that he will never destroy the earth again with a flood. And the sign of that is a rainbow. You have the covenant with Abraham, a promise to Abraham for a couple things: land, a people, a nation that will bless other nations. The sign of that is circumcision. And then you have the covenant with Moses, the Mosaic covenant, which has stipulations. It has the law. It has sacrifices. Along with the Mosaic covenant, you have the promise of God to dwell with his people in the temple, and he will be their God. They will be his people. Then you have the Davidic covenant, God's promise to David that he will take one of his offspring, his seed, and make him into a king that reigns and rules forever. All of this leads into the New Testament. So that's sort of the historical context that Paul is working from when he's writing Romans. And so when he's talking about circumcision as the sign of the covenant, he's talking about, did the sign of Abraham's righteousness come before he had faith or after he had faith? And it was given to him after he had faith, after he had righteousness. It was a representation of this new relationship that Abraham had with God, that God had established. It's very similar to baptism, baptism being a sign of something that has taken place within us. The baptism of the heart, circumcision, also described as a circumcision of the heart by the Spirit. But the important thing to really notice is just, again, the order in this, which is Abraham believes, he is counted righteous, and he is then given a sign of circumcision to show that he is part of this covenant. What was Abraham believing in? He was believing that God was able to do what he had promised. That's 4:21. And by believing that God was able to do what he had promised, he received righteousness. It's amazing. It's a beautiful picture of what faith looks like and how righteousness comes through faith. It is no different for us as New Testament believers. We are also believing that God is able to do what he has promised through Jesus 2,000 years ago, that what he did secured our salvation and our place in eternity with God. That is a future that we're looking forward to. So we are trusting that Jesus did what was necessary for us to have that right relationship with God. And the New Testament tells us that is exactly what he did. And when we believe in him and we turn to him, that is exactly what we get. And that is good news.